Welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Somewhere in the world, there is a stranger that you will eventually meet, know, fall in love with, maybe even choose to spend the rest of your life with them, and you haven't even met them yet. What kind of a crazy, crazy coincidence will this be when the two of you from two totally different lives come together and fall in love? How does that even happen? We talk about dating all the time, all the different ways we meet people and how things will align and how we should present, what we should talk about, what we should wear. And at some point, the goal here is that we meet somebody and it actually works out. But there are some things that have to align before that can happen. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. If that's interesting or intriguing, please hit the subscribe button for conversations about dating and relationships every week. And then also while you're there, check out my free guide on how to meet people in the wild, the ultimate guide to meeting people in the wild, how to connect with other singles in real life, not on the apps, but in the real world. It's very, very comprehensive and it's totally free. Grab that. The link is in my description. Let's talk about this weird coinky-dink, as my kids like to say. That's what's on the agenda. Not only will you know this person, but you will love them, you will desire them, you will want what's best for them and have their back. This person will just suddenly be a part of your life. And I just think, how does that even happen? Like, how does all of this stuff line up so that is a possibility? And there are some things that people who do find their partner have in common with each other, the other people who have found their special someone. I don't know if you believe in soulmates. I do not. I think there are lots of people out there you could fall in love with. And in fact, stick around towards the end because I have a whole theory I told my kids about how I sort of knew what kind of falling in love situation they would have. It's about chairs, actually. But one of the things that people have in common when they find their person is there's some type of a shared interest. So pursuing your interests, I think, might be really important to you. Doing things that you enjoy, taking a class. If you love golf, playing golf, do it and find somebody there who shares that enjoyment with you. And then your life together, you'll be able to not be apart on your weekends, but be playing golf in doubles or together, however that works for you golfer people. Tennis, right? Love of film, going to a discussion, analyzing movies or to the movies, or creating a team to put together to create a small short film of your own. If you're passionate about something and you enjoy it, get out there and do it and hopefully meet people while you're doing that. People who meet and fall in love very often have social circles that intersect or overlap in some way. So nothing wrong with spending time with your friends, but also make sure that you are inquiring of your friends, beseeching of them, where that word came from, begging them to please set you up with anybody they think would be a great match. Your sister has got a new best friend. Do you think she would like somebody like me? Oh, really? You've got a new coworker you're going out to lunch with? Is she like my type? I don't think I've ever met your brother before. Ask your friends and your family to set you up at every opportunity, because the more people you meet, the more likely you are to connect with somebody that you've met. Number 3, these people who are finding each other and just having the serendipity of falling in love with a person are also pretty happy with who they are, where they're at. They are people who are not still trying to get over somebody else or to be comfortable with themselves. They've left their past and their baggage behind. They kind of like who they are now. If they don't love themselves, they've at least accepted themselves. They have sorted their stuff out and they're just comfortable in their own skin. They think, I'm in a pretty good place right now. So they're open. They don't have other things they're supposed to be working on. There's room, space in their life for another person. Their own personal issues have been dealt with. This one here reminds me of my mother and me, and not in the way you would think. She comes over in the summer. She's like, how do you not have your air conditioning on? aren't you miserable? I'm like, yeah. Don't you just hate being uncomfortable? I say, yeah. Then she says, well, why don't you put your air conditioning on? And my reason for not putting my air conditioning on is I wait all year long in Chicago for the weather to be tolerable, to have my windows open, for me not to be stuck with closed windows and recirculated air. I want fresh air in my house. If it happens to be hot, it happens to be hot. I'm like, thank God it's not, 12 degrees outside. So my answer is always to her, who said I need to be comfortable all the time? I'm willing to be uncomfortable to have the enjoyment of fresh air. And people who are available to falling in love and find that happens to them are typically people who are willing to be uncomfortable, to get out of their comfort zone and be a little unsure of situations. They are people who are willing to take small risks, calculated risks, and not have that net there all the time that they're going to be super cocooned and cared for in every situation. It's uncomfortable to put yourself out there, introduce yourself to someone you don't know, start a conversation, or tell somebody they look attractive that day at the bus stop. You look really pretty today. That's a nice color on you. Or did you get a new haircut? Speaking to strangers, starting conversations, flirting are all things that are a little awkward, especially if it's not something you do all the time. So get out of your comfort zone. Don't play it super safe, because that increases your odds that you'll be like the people who are meeting their person. And now I will share with you what I told my kids, was that when they were getting older, later into their 20s, I said, I really believe that finding your person is a bit like musical chairs, the first time around anyway. I feel that you're just playing the game. You're meeting people, sitting in chairs, moving around the circle, sitting down, connecting with somebody, get up, move around the chairs. And when you are ready to get married, to settle down, or to have a partner that's a permanent partner, pick your real person. Do I believe in soulmates? No. I believe that when the music stops, you take your seat, the person standing in front of your chair that you happen to be dating at that moment is the person that you're going to make a commitment to. The timing was right. You by then have probably figured out that you're not spending too much time dating people who are totally inappropriate for you. And while this does not seem like something a matchmaker would recommend, and I'm not sure I recommend this, I just think it's typically what happens. When you're ready to make a commitment, you're at the age, the place in your life, the place in your career, living where you want to be when you get married, and you're dating somebody, you're just going to marry them. And I call it the musical chairs method of matching. Not that I'm practicing this with clients in any way. There's no music and there's no games here. This is real life business that I'm doing. But isn't that interesting? And don't you think about if you've been married before. Isn't that kind of true? And then finally, number 7, you will only end up with somebody that you've met. You need to get out there. You need to meet people. You need to meet more people. You need to meet all the people. So find something to do. Put yourself out there. Get out of your comfort zone. Invest in you by taking the time to get to know as many people as you can to increase your chances of finding somebody and connecting with somebody. If you could use a little bit of help, make sure you check out my free guide down in the descriptions about how to meet people, not on the apps, but if you're bored with the apps, done with the apps, burned out with the apps, and you want to meet people out in the real world, out in the wild, chock full of information, and it's free. So grab that down in my description. Make sure you hit that ring bell so you're notified every time a new episode goes live. Mom wants you to give it a thumbs up over here. I've asked a lot from you, so that one's on you if you want to. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Until then, have a good one.